Hi guys, it's me, Jenny, and I'm kind of bored today, and so I decided I'm going to share a little, I guess you can call it a thought or something that came up to me last night because, lately my life has been a little quiet, maybe boring, I could say. Although, it seems like every day I have fun with my friends and family, and it seems like everything's going good for me. And then this one, I see it everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, even this quote was saying, maybe your boredom is actually the peace you've been wanting. And at first I was like, oh wow, maybe it is true. Maybe I've been praying for peace and just quietness. It's just the peace I've been wanting actually. While I was just thinking about this and reflecting on it, I realized that this quote, maybe your boredom is actually the peace you've been wanting, goes much deeper than what it actually means. Because like everything else in life, for us Christians or believers of Christ, either every decision, every choice we make, every thought is either earthly or godly. And on this topic of when we talk about peace, it just seems so simple. Peace in your heart, body, whatever. It seems so simple. It's calming, it's comforting, things are going smooth. It seems like that. But the thought of, is this peace spiritual? Is this peace godly? And the difference between regular peace and spiritual peace is that spiritual peace gives us a sense of purpose. It fulfills you in what you do in your life. And it seems like regular peace does the same thing. And what's the difference? Regular peace can also give us purpose, can also fulfill us in what we do. But the difference is that regular peace is also temporary. Yeah, when we have godly peace, the spiritual peace, we're able to continue, we're consistently living in this peace. There may be days where we go months with going through troubles and struggles, but the difference in regular peace and godly peace is that we have a sense of belonging. We have this purpose that we know that this peace is forever in us and it's eternal, and it's not something we can be like, oh, where did the peace go? Because it's always been there, because our peace resides in a eternal God. Oops, sorry. And so there's a difference between those spiritual peace and regular peace. John 16:33, we can see that Jesus himself states to his disciples, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. And it goes on saying, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And I just wanted to focus on the specific few first sentences where it states, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In Christ is when we may have peace. And there's this gap between finding peace in elsewhere and finding peace in Him. When we find peace in other things, maybe food, friends, family, whatever it may be, it gives us comfort, happiness, it's calming us, etc. But you gotta really expand your understanding that all these things are just for you. All these things are just good for me, or your family, or just you. The main purpose is you here. It's all for you. No drama, that's good for you. No problems with your friends, family. In the end, it's all for you. Everything's fulfilling your needs, your own purpose. But as Christians, it's no longer our purpose. We're no longer living for us, but we're now living for Him. We're living for His purpose. And we can see that Jesus' lifetime on this earth, everything He said and did, it was all for God. His purpose was to be our Savior, and in the end, His purpose was to be our Savior, and He did what His purpose was, and He took up the sins of the world and everything. But in the end, He also gives His followers a purpose for their relationship with Jesus, all those time they spent together. He couldn't just leave them, but instead He gave them a purpose, to preach His gospel to the ends of the earth, to preach His word, to make the word name Jesus Christ be known to everyone. So when we as followers of Christ have this purpose of preaching His word, this commandment from Jesus in all the gospel books, and specifically you can look at Matthew 28, it isn't always going to be rainbows and sunshine. Preaching this gospel, all these disciples, they've all gone through trials and tribulations. It's not like, oh, I'm going to live this comforting life. I'm going to live comfortably. We're meant to have struggles. We're meant to have problems in our life. We're meant to have people to hate us. Family disputes. Our life isn't always going to be a smooth, what? So in the end, you really discern whether our peace that we have right now, the peace that we think that we have right now, is it truly my purpose or is it truly for His? And whether or not you're a Christian or not, it's just good to think about, because sometimes in life we forget how selfish we can be as humans. Of course, it's not selfish to take time for yourself, but it becomes selfish when you are neglecting your purpose to preach the word, to spread the love of God to other people, friends, family, strangers, wherever. It becomes selfish when you neglect your job, the same job that God has given you, you're neglecting it. And now it's no longer peace, it's just, I don't know, laziness? I don't even know. But that was just something that came up to me last night as I was praying to God about my life, everything that's been going on, because I thought, wow, things are going good with my friends, and my family's loving each other. Oh, it's dying, but it seems like everything's going well. I'm doing good I think I'm doing good and everything life, and there's nothing troubling or crazy in my life. But God really convicted me last night, because we're meant to have troubles in our life. It's not every day that we can have a peace in our peace. When I say peace, it's like earthly peace, comforting, calming. But true peace comes from Him. And even though we may go through struggles, problems like that, we know that in the end it's for Him. So we have that peace. We know we have that peace. We don't mind if we go through struggles. We don't mind if we go through these things, because in the end we have this spiritual peace. We have this godly peace. That's just a message that really came up to me last night, talking about God was like, you're not living for your peace, you're living for my peace. And so in me, you can have peace. So I was like, that's a really good word. It's not some everyday thing that maybe people do talk about it, but it's just a good reminder for myself. Maybe a good reminder for you as well. There was just a little thing going on. If you're a follower of God and you're going through these like, people are hating you, friends they seem distant now, and family is going not as good or stuff like that. You're preaching your gospel and yet your life seems like it's falling apart. It's just really encouragement that in Him we find peace, and despite this grief that we go through Jesus, it can turn into joy. And that's the amazing part of the gospel. The amazing part of God is that this peace that we have is not temporary, everlasting, because God is everlasting. And if He never dies, if He never changes, our peace will never change or never die as well. So thank you for listening.